Right, in this video I'm going to be just showing what I've been buying since the last video I've done. And first up is this, I'm going to do the new sort of after 2010 pickups first. PlayStation 3 Neo Geo control stick, basically. It was brought out to play games like King the Fighters 12, King the Fighters 13, and it's really good for the PSN network games, sort of Metal Slug emulations and Samurai Spirits and Baseball Stars 2, etc. Gives you a very authentic Neo Geo experience. I'll show you the quality of it. It's sort of reminiscent, the packaging, of the Neo Geo X, but the actual stick is of better quality than the Neo Geo X. The USB stick, plug it straight into your PS3. This lead's about 2 meters long, so for me, I'm gonna have to use a USB extension because I sit further away from the TV. I sit about 2.5 meters to 3 meters away from the TV, so bear that in mind if you buy one of these, or if you see one of these. It sticks to glass like glue, and it's an absolute joy to use. It's heavier than the Neo Geo X stick. I'm comparing it to the Neo Geo X because that's the sort of material that's used these days. SNK obviously did it. It's got a steel, the stick's actually steel, which is obviously pretty cool. The buttons are related to the PS3 pad, so you've got the square, the X, the triangle, the circle. You've got the R1 and the R2, L1, L2, because you can do different things in the new King of the Fighters releases, King of Fighters 12, 13. But really it's a must if you want to collect some Neo Geo titles on the PS3. What I will say is I've got no idea whether this is going to be compatible with the PS4 or the Neo Geo Classics are coming onto the PS4 network, so I'm not sure how future proof this is, but as it stands, it's a really, I got for 40 quid, and it's a really well, I'm over the moon with. I've had some real good fun with some of the better titles. Metal Slug plays like a dream with this. I've also got the pad, the Neo Geo 2 pad, because that's what they call 2 for the PS3 releases. This is the Neo Geo Stick 2, and I've got the Neo Geo Pad 2, which I showed you in a previous video. I'll just put this away somehow. The packaging's not amazing, like. The stick is of high quality, in my opinion. Is it worth investing in one of these? It depends how long you keep your PS3, because I'm not 100% sure if the PS4 will support Neo Geo games. I hope it does. But if you're into the new King of Fighters, and if you've downloaded every Neo Geo emulated game on the PS3 and the fantastic the fantastic conversions or emulations of the originals. On, you know, the screen's smaller, it takes up about 2/3 of the full screen, and you know, and you've got a border a bit like the Game Boy Advance add-on for the GameCube. You're not getting a full screen, but it's still brilliant. Look at this, Beyond Two Souls. It's my type of game, done by David Cage. He done Heavy Rain and Fahrenheit, or what was it called in America? I can't remember. Oh God, my memory. But I'm not sure if I can class this as a game. It's a fascinating story. It's about a lass who's played by Ellen Page, who's a great actress. Well, she is in this, anyway. And she has an entity that follows her around, which so far in the game seems to be a soul as well. That's why it's called Two Souls. And I really want to play it till the end to find out what the hell it's all about. But you know, I got a bit sick of it because it's the type of game similar to Heavy Rain, but not as, I don't think it's as good as Heavy Rain, where you hold down triangle, or the common one is square, then you hold down R1, and this makes Ellen, sorry I can't remember her name in the game, I'll just call her Ellen, climb up a mountain. The actual gaming element of the title is pretty much it's pretty poor. It's I suppose it's an evolution of point and click adventures, but it's a really good game, really good actors in it. I made a mistake. It's not really a game. It's a really good interactive movie. I'm saying it's not as good as Heavy Rain. I'm contradicting myself, but if you like good interactive stories, and this has got a good storyline. It sort of switches to our childhood, switches to our adulthood. Basically our life's a mess because of the entity, but at the same time the entity protects her, and so there's positives and negatives, and she works for the CIA. She has a terrible life actually. It's different. King of Fighters 12, which is okay. Made a couple of notes on this. Joe's lightning blade is extremely easy to pull off in this. I noticed that straight away. It's got like Zelda Wind Waker cell shaded graphics meets Neo Geo CD load times almost. It's got current gen positives, like there's no timer when you select your character, which is good. It's got like televised, the whole tournament is sort of televised with broadcasts, which adds a bit of depth, and the sort of white blondes speaking Japanese in it, which is very realistic. And King of the Fighters 13, which is a big improvement on 12 in my opinion. Better music, better interface. You can customise the characters, the colour of the hair, the colour of the shorts or trousers or whatever. The characters have conversations before the fight. There's better sound effects when you punch someone. It's much better, punchier. special moves, or some of them are absolutely amazing. And if you're a beginner, choose Ralph. There's a tip for you. He's pretty good. And when did this come out? 2005. Right, 2005, Xenosaga 2, episode 2. Someone recommended this to me. The first one was on the PlayStation and is tricky to get a hold of. I'm not sure if it was a Japanese only release. No, I think it came out in the US, but it didn't come out in the UK as far as I know. Futuristic RPG. I've never played it yet, but apparently it's got. Apparently it's good. I'm not sure what the battle system's like, which is the most important thing. One of the most important things for me when it comes to Japanese role-playing games. So, you know, that was a tenner, which I thought would have cost more than that. On to Neo Geo, the original stuff. Neo Geo Pocket link cable I've got. I showed you the headphones the last time, on one of my last videos, and now I've got a link cable, which I'm over the moon with, because again I just paid a tenner for it, and I can't imagine these being common. So I'm looking forward to meeting someone with a Neo Geo colour in Newcastle, so we can link up the consoles and play big tournament golf. But I think it's cute, love it. That's the original Neo Geo stick, and this is my new this Hori, which is absolutely stunning. It's got a very hard plastic outer edge, and it's just steel. The joysticks, steel. It's a steel stick with a plastic top, obviously. But the movement of the joystick is almost exactly the same as the original. The buttons are actually better. It's actually a rich man's Neo Geo stick. Not that I'm a rich man, but if you can get a hold of one of these, get one, because they're absolutely awesome for fighting games on Neo Geo. It's called a fighting stick, but it's also good for Metal Slug and Magician Lord and Raiden Hero and things like that. It's absolutely awesomely well built. Over the moon that I've got. Again, it's called Neo 2, but the weight of it, oh god, it's at least 4 times, could be 5 or 6 times the weight of the original. Now one of the most interesting, right, I'm going to have to get some information up here. I'll show you that in the meantime. Steel Series joypad, which is 2 seconds, I'm just pulling up some information, because I'm new to the next item I'm going to be showing you. But it's actually my new hobby. Right, Steel Series joypad doesn't really work on the iPad, doesn't really work on the PC, unfortunately. I thought it would have been brilliant for emulators, but I've had nothing but problems with it. If you've got an Android tablet, I mean, if you've got an Android phone, I don't know if you play games on it, but apparently it's great for that. You just configure the buttons on the game you wish to play if the buttons are configurable on the game, so it's worth checking. It's a really nice little joypad. I'm just devastated that it doesn't actually work on the vast majority of games on the iPad, and it doesn't really work at all on the PC unless my Bluetooth's dodgy. But luckily I got these for free. God, how do you open this? Oh, lad. Right, look, you got these for free. That's like a little, for the virtual sticks you get in some iPad games like Zenfonia. You stick this on your iPad and you actually end up with a lovely little joystick. It does actually work really well. And yeah, you've got 3 buttons you can use. So it's a really good gadget for which is highly recommended if you like gaming on your iPad. Now move on to the final item that I purchased, which is it's not going to fit on the camera. So I'm going to have to do a bit jiggling here. Oh God, I need to do some weight training, but this is a jammer board and it's a Hyper Neo Geo 64 jamming board. Right, things are complicated when it comes to Hyper 64. They release just as many balls as they release games, to be honest with you. Right, this is actually a jammer board, and it's a big thing. Right, there's 2 revisions of this. I'll just get this out of the way in case it's helpful to some people. Revision 2, which this is, has 5 connectors on the front. Revision 1, which really you want to try and get revision 2, has only 2 of these. So that's the difference, very easy to tell. Now the processor in all, let's just find out how many boards were made out. Yeah, there was 3 of these boards made for different types of games. This is a fighting jammer board, which can play 4 fighting games that came out. Then you've got a driving board, which I haven't got, I've just got this. Then you've got a shooting board, which only plays Beast Busters, Second Nightmare. So there's actually 3 jammer boards for 7 games. It's ridiculous. It was a huge flop. The idea was to rival the N64, to sort of consolize this somehow and rival the N64. I mean, someone must have been on the old wacky backy at SNK if they thought they could consolize 3 huge jammer boards into a console and actually sell pretty mediocre games compared to the RPGs and the action adventure games that were brilliant on the consoles of the day. Sort of the N64 and the PlayStation and the Saturn. But the specs on this thing is pretty interesting. I'm not sure what direction they would have went in SNK. It would have been interesting if this had taken off, because if they'd done RPGs and stuff like that, then if they screwed the heads on and done games like that, more variety, then this definitely had the power. It's got 3 CPUs, one's running 100 megahertz. It's an NEC, good chip. The second CPU handles the audio I/O, and that runs at 60 megahertz, and it's a 16-bit microcontroller. The CPU 3's auxiliary handles communications on an 8-bit controller. So 100 megahertz isn't bad. The display palette is 16.7 million. It can show 4096 colours on the screen at once. 3D, 96 megabyte of vertex memory and 16 megabyte of texture memory. This all sounds really impressive for something that came in the late 90s. 2D sprite branch, 60 frames per second animation, 128 megabyte character memory. That's the 2D element of it. I've played a bit of Fatal Fury, where is it? Wild Ambition on this, and it's like Virtua Fighter but better. It's quite good. Now if I pull up, say, an N64, just using my iPad here because I cannot remember these figures, but technical spec on that, it's not very laid out very well. But the CPU is again a VR 4300. It's got the same CPU, NEC. In fact, that processor was the most powerful console CPU of its generation, so this actually has the same CPU as the N64. Similar power to Pentium processor found in the old desktop computers, but had a narrower bus. And let's have a look what sound chip this is in terms of RAM. 4 megabytes of sorry, I'm just reading because I can't really remember all the 64-bit systems of the time, but this is certainly on par with the N64, if not better. God, SNK, where'd you go wrong? Well, let's have a look at one that, I mean, this is consolising 3 of them. I don't know how they would do it. Probably have a console the size of me 50-inch television, but there's a game. That's the easiest game to get. Wild Ambition, Fatal Fury, and it's actually a good game. If you play it, pick Terry Bogard because he's absolutely fantastic in it. This just slots in somewhere along there, because I've never managed to get this board up and running, but as you can see, the cartridges are massive, and the price I paid for all of that was 20 quid, and that's what got me interested in the Hyper 64. There's just 7 games, there's 3 boards, and it would be nice to have the collection of them, especially considering considering the power that this has. I mean, it really is a legend, and the potential that this had, God, it's ridiculous. But in me travels, I've now that is about 10 kilo nearly. I've got a 250 watt flex power supply. This is what's really handy, as I get me the power wires I need to power the actual jammer board, Hyper 64 jammer board. I've got a harness, just a shout out to Luke Morse. I'm sure most of you would have heard of him. If not, check out his channel. He's absolutely fantastic. There's the connector. These wires all need soldering onto the various. Well, these are actually for the controllers, for the joysticks, and you really need the power sorted out, and the video output sorted out, and things like buttons to get into the BIOS and stuff. This is a £9 harness and a £20 power supply, and I've almost got everything I need to get this Hyper 64 project up and running. Really, I want a super gun, so if I decide to make a super gun or even consoleize the N64, then I'll show a video of it. It was actually doing it, so you may want to do it, because for the price you pay, it's certainly worth giving it a go. I mean, £8 for that, £20, that's 28. That's 48 quid I've paid, and I've nearly got everything to play Wild Ambition to consoleize. I mean, I've consoleized in like a wood enclosure. I've got a mate who's an excellent woodworker, and perhaps he could help us out with actual casing, and I could dismantle this power supply, use some of the components, and create a more smaller power unit on a copper base, which would fit into an enclosure, because obviously this is no good, unless I just want to use a super gun or something like that. So it would be interesting. It would be an interesting project to consoleize the Hyper 64. Well, that's everything I've bought. Actually, I'm just gonna jump. Oh God! I'm just gonna jump and get something else. Whoa! Christ! Soccer Brawl, I've been after this for a while. It's not the best condition. Was overpriced for the condition it's in, so I managed to get some money back from the eBay seller. He hasn't actually given us it back yet, but he's agreed to it. Good two-player game as usual. It's soccer or football in England. Well, soccer universally now, but futuristic. Bit that sort of reminds me of speedball, but using your feet. That's as closest I can describe it. But I'm over the moon as part of my dog tag collection, and that is everything. Everything for now. So my next video might involve the Hyper 64. I'll wait and see. There's one more thing I want to show you. I have to do a bit of... Good job I'm flexible. Oh! Alright. This might interest some of you. Just going on the old hand cam here. This is me main unit, which I'm getting a lot of fun out of. Hyper 64 games don't actually work on this properly, which is one of the reasons I'm gonna do something about. Metal Slug framed, Metal Slug X. This, look at this beauty. It's like a vinyl poster, and it's huge, and you can get them, get one of these for 35 quid. So you might pay about an extra 150 for the clips to hold it up onto a wall. From the neo-geo.com forums, there's a guy there in England who's selling these for 35 quid. Highly recommend it. It's just absolutely awesome. Finishes, oh, it's an old telephone. Finishes finishes off me corner quite nicely. That's how I contact the universe. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. It did go on a bit, I did waffle as usual, but until the next time, keep gaming. Cheers.